All right. There are two things that stick out to me right now. The first one is that we have to just be realistic about the fact that we didn't execute well enough tonight to beat a top 16, top 20 opponent. There too often we weren't on the same page, both offensively and defensively, at a couple of key moments, and it really hurt us. When we have opportunities to make plays on both sides of the ball, we have to find a way to make them in order to beat a top 20 team. There's little margin for error when you play a team like this. That being said, I do want to point out I am very proud of our team for the way that they competed in the second half. We came into the locker room and we challenged them to go out there and play with passion and energy and compete as hard as they could, and we did that in the second half, and we made some plays. Charles Garrett strip, excellent play. Cody pulling the ball a couple of times and getting some explosive runs in the Reed game was very encouraging. Hassan Henderson, we played good enough to win on defense in the second half. The last touchdown is a throwaway to me. It is what it is. I'm not worried about it. I am proud of our guys. Again, critical penalties hurt us. We get a hold on a quarterback keep where he's out and around and the hold doesn't even affect the play. We got to be smart enough we just got to cut it out with the critical penalties, and I felt like there were a couple of them tonight. The offensive pass interference negates a touchdown. Doesn't matter how I feel about the call, it was made, and it negates a score. But I am proud of our kids for the way look. And don't get me wrong, there are no moral victories, but we did compete and really fight our tails off in the second half, and for that, they do deserve credit. We are where we are right now. It doesn't matter how we got here. The only thing that matters is the right here and right now. And I am going to do a better job. Our coaches are going to do a better job, and our players are going to do a better job. And we are going to go. We're going to get home tonight, try and get healthy as quickly as we can, and we're going to prepare as hard as we can to go try and win a road game up at Colorado State next week. And if we can go play with the passion and the fight and the energy that we had in the second half, then we got a pretty good chance.
Brian, Derek Carr had huge numbers again, but it seemed like your defense played fairly well most of the night, especially those fourth down stops.
The numbers don't bother me. It was by design. We knew he was going to get numbers. We had to bow up in the red zone, and we had to find a way to get off the field. And they put up numbers against everybody in America. So, what matters to me was that we found a way to get off the field on a bunch of fourth downs, and we caused a turnover. I thought, the guy's not comfortable as a runner. He made some plays as a runner, but that's not what he wants to do, so we're able to get him out of his comfort zone. And look, the bottom line is the guy is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's a heck of a player. So I thought, obviously we weren't perfect, but I'm not hung up on the numbers.
Looked like your strategy early on was very similar to the Florida State game. Is that fair?
Well, we felt like after they played a really physical game last week on the road at San Diego State and an overtime game, and we felt like if we could run the ball, we could help keep our defense off the field, and that we might be able to try and be physical with them because they were nicked up coming out of a really hard game last week. Obviously on the opening drive, we pop a long power, which is great to see, but we weren't able to sustain drives in the first half, and we kept putting our defense out there. And in a game like this, you can't do that. You've got to sustain some drives to help keep our defense rested and stop, going 3 and out. And some of that was execution, some of it was penalties. I mean, we got to do better. But again, I thought collectively in the second half, I thought everybody played better.
In retrospect, do you think maybe you'd want to open it up more in that first half?
No, I mean, I thought we called the game that we needed to call. I mean, that's not fair. I mean, every week it's why aren't you running the ball effectively? And now we dedicate ourselves to running the ball, and it's why don't you open it up? I mean, because we needed to run the ball to try and sustain drives to keep our defense off the field. 3 and outs and not being able to change field position was going to absolutely destroy us against a team this explosive on offense. So I have no problem with the game plan. It was the right thing to do. And plus, they were heating us up more than their tendencies would have told you. And sitting back there and chucking it all over the yard wasn't going to help either. We came in at halftime. I thought our offensive coaches did a nice job of adjusting to what we were seeing, getting us into some good play calls in the second half, and obviously we played better.